Hello everyone, this is Jan, the VP of Operations for RUAT. So welcome to our first CATIA workshop. I know that a lot of you, the first years don't have access to the virtual apps yet, but we are still trying to get that sorted. Hopefully when you start AER 222, they give you access to it. If not, then we will have to figure out another CADing software that we can teach you how to use. But for now, we'll teach you how to use CATIA, and I figured that the best way to learn is to just create a part, which is what you need to do first. So here's a reference file that we are going to be creating. But before we do that, we need to go to our Ryzen virtual apps. Typically you have to log in, but I'm already logged in as I already did it. So I just have to open my virtual desktop right there. Just go, just like it's like a normal window that you have on your PC if you're a Windows user. Just open CATIA. I apologize if the audio is not the best. I don't have my usual setup, and I'm recording this on my laptop, so it might lag a little bit because my laptop is like 4 years old. So yeah, so this is the shape that we want to create. This is CATIA right now. Notice how it says product 1. That usually means that we are in assembly design, which is this thing right here. Right now we're not assembling anything, we're actually creating a part. So we can close this and watch how just close it for now. Click start, go to mechanical design, and then part design. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna leave it as part 1. So this will be what you're greeted with. I've already moved some of my toolbars up in here because they were hidden, but typically if you have a big screen, all the toolbars will be showing properly. But like I said, my laptop's resolution is quite small, so we just have to move things around to make it visible. So what I like to do typically is to check the units. So to change your units or check it, you can just go to tools, options. Usually you'll be here at general. You just got to go down to parameters and measure units, and you can choose whatever units you want to work with. If you're a weirdo, you can use inches, feet, but if you're cool like most of us, you just gotta go with the metric system. I'll keep it as millimeters for now, but that's just the first thing you have to check. Well, maybe not the first thing, but like one of the first things you have to check is your units that you're working with. So this is like the interface right here. It looks a lot because it is, but I guess let's just get started by looking at the image that we want to recreate. So this is it. This is the part that we want to recreate. The first thing I like to do is look at the image, look at like which plane do I want to sort of draw the section of, and then build my shape around that. So the best part to do right now is with this right here. I can't highlight it, but this L shape right here on sort of the right side. So to do that, we just gotta go to this box right here where it says isometric view. We just click that, and then here you can hover over the 3 main planes that we can work with. 3 reference planes. I'll be clicking on the ZX plane because that is the closest one that matches our image. And then I just have to go to this sketch toolbar right here, and it'll bring us this. So my tools are sort of floating, but so it gives us this. So what essentially happened is that we went into that plane. So now we're working on a 2D plane, the ZX plane. And what we want to recreate is this shape right here. There are multiple ways of doing it. The way I like to do it is we can start with a rectangle. Don't worry about the measurements for now. Notice how they snapped because it snap to point is enabled. Typically, if you have a more complicated shape, you don't want this thing enabled because it's kind of annoying, to be honest. So you can just turn that off. Now once we have this sort of rectangle, you just want to sort of constrain it to a 60 by 60 millimeter shape. So it's actually a square. So this is how you constrain it. If you didn't catch what I did there, I'm going to do it again for the other side. So you just go over here, constrain, right? You just click this line and then the opposite line, and they kind of get constrained. They get constrained based on the number that you typed in. So that's what we have. Now, notice how the shape is kind of small. What we can do is we can zoom in, and the shortcut for zooming in is to just press Control on your keyboard, click on the middle mouse, like the roller of your mouse, middle mouse button. Sometimes it's called mouse button 3. That's how you zoom in. Control, middle mouse button, and to sort of pan around, move around, you just click on the middle mouse button, and it does that. And okay. So notice that it's a 60 by 60, and then the little bits are 20 millimeters. So we can just take a line tool, draw it vertically like so. Doesn't have to be exact measurements yet. We just want it to be straight, perfectly straight, just like that. And then we can constrain it again. So click just the line. Then we can click on this reference vertical axis. Type in 20. So 20. It does that for us. Do the same thing here. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. Trying to be as detailed as possible, but I'm also trying to be quick with it. So right now I'm just looking for a tool that I need. So okay, so I drag this out, right? We want to find the trim tool, but we want to use this eraser looking thing called quick trim, right? Because we want to get rid of the excess bits that are sticking out. Click on that, quick trim, right? Quick trim is like one of the most useful tools in this software. So typically you would want to create a macro or like a shortcut, and I'll explain you how to do that right now. So you just go to tools, customize, commands right here, and we just gotta go click on all commands, and then we just gotta go near the end because it's called quick trim QRS. So Q is, did I miss it? Sorry, right here. So just double click on that and go to accelerator. What I like to do typically is Control plus, so Control plus Q for quick trim, or you can set your own sort of shortcut if you want, but that's how you access the commands and create your own accelerator or a shortcut. So now we don't have to keep clicking on this like that, which is like kind of annoying, to be honest. So you just gotta go Control Q, delete that, Control Q, delete that, Control Q, delete that, delete this bit, delete this bit. Now we have the shape that we want. Now after we create our 2D shape, we want to exit the workbench simply by pressing this little icon right here. And if you go back to our reference image, we have this shape now, but we want to extend it to 120 millimeters. To do that, we just got to go to our pad tool. This is the second tool that you are going to be using a lot. Pad it. We can change direction so that we can match the reference. And right here is where you can set the parameters. I'm just going to select 120. You can preview it. There are more options, but for our purposes, we don't need to go that detailed. So now we have the basic shape. As we previewed it, now we just gotta click OK. So if you look at here in the reference image, we're like a third there, you know, or like halfway there. Now what we need to do next is to create the slot right here and these like pockets here. Excuse me. So now to do that, now we don't need to click on these planes because we have a shape like a flat edge here. We can just click straight onto that and go ahead and sketch on it. If you look at the drawings, the round bits have a radius of 7 millimeters, and the center point is 20 millimeters from the edge. The actual length of the slot is around 80 millimeters. So let's keep those measurements in our heads. And what I like to do when there's a lot of complicated shapes is to create construction lines. Just gotta click this, enable this, and all the lines that you draw will be dotted. So just like a real life construction lines, when you draw, I don't know what you draw, but like if you draw portraits, for example, you do construction lines that you erase later on, or that you draw over, right? So they're not perfect, but they're straight, and we can just constrain them to be this line right here. I want it to be halfway between this and this bottom bit, so that's 40 millimeters divided by 2 is equal to 20, right? You might be asking, how do I know that? You just gotta keep doing these things, analyze the shape, make like educated guesses, and typically works out. And then you can always adjust it later on, right? But yeah, so we have our construction lines. These are the center points of our circles. To draw a circle, just go here, hover over it, circle, and we don't want a construction line, so we want to disable it. Go right here, it'll snap. It doesn't have to be perfect, we just gotta create a circle right there, and then we can take our construction lines, or sorry, the constraint tool, constrain our circle to have, so this gives us radius, but the tool gives us diameter. So radius of 7 is the same as diameter of 14. Or we can change this to radius to match that. So 7, just like that. And then we just gotta draw a straight line going from here to here. We can trust that that shape is correct. So now we're going to use our shortcut again, Control Q, or you can go ahead and click Quick Trim. Just like that. And we have the slot that we need. Hopefully there's no holes so that this all turns out well, but okay, the third tool that you're gonna be using is the pocket tool. It's essentially the opposite of pad. So we don't need 120 millimeters, we just need 20. And we can preview it, zoom in, zoom at it, rotate it a couple times, make sure that it's through, just press OK. Okay, so it tells you how to zoom on things. You just press Control, middle mouse button, then up and down on your mouse, right? But to rotate, you actually do the opposite. So middle mouse button first, Control, and then you move things around, sort of like that, right? And you can always go back to your isometric view just like that. Another way to rotate is to use this little sort of plane thing, axis thing that you can move around. If you click on the plane, it drags on the plane. Click on the line, goes up and down the line. I don't like to use those. I like to use the mouse shortcuts. But yeah, we're like almost done, you see. So we gotta do our last bit here. Draw the two little holes, and then there's a little semicircle. It's 10 millimeter radius, 20 millimeter radius. It's very similar to the slot. It's the center point is 20 millimeters away from both the edges. So again, click on this, our construction lines, right? Make sure it's the right distance. So make sure it's 20, not 20 point, whatever that was. Okay. Then we're just gonna have what is the halfway point? 120, so I think it's 60. Right in here. And then we can, you might be thinking that this is like a little too much, but it's good to get into habits of doing construction lines because you don't want your shape to change mid sort of drawing. Not doing construction lines can lead to a lot of problems later on. I like to do them, and they're pretty decent practice. So right here. So we can disable construction lines and draw our circle. Again, they don't have to be the perfect size yet. Just want to draw a circle. So there's essentially 3 circles, right? Then we just go back to our construction line, radius of 10, right? Another one that's radius of 10. Finally, this one is bigger. It's a radius of 20, I believe. Just to double check. Yes. So R10, R10, R20. Alrighty. So just exit here. Again, we use pocket tool. 20 millimeters. And there we go. You just created your first part in CATIA. Hopefully, you learned quite a bit there. I tried to be as detailed as possible with the explanation, but that's how you create your own part. There's a lot more tools here for more complicated parts, and for the next sort of workshop tutorial, I'll be going over, I believe, how to create wings, how to import airfoil data, which is a section of a wing, and also assembly design, even drafting if you need to do that for your reports. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you learned a little bit on how to use CATIA. It's super basic. You should learn this in your AR 222, but you don't have that class yet. But from what I remember, a lot of what I learned in CATIA was just self-taught, to be honest. And a great resource that I want to point you guys at is LinkedIn Learning. So you can straight up go to LinkedIn Learning. If you're a Ryerson student, you should have access to this. So this is my LinkedIn. Right, just go Ryerson LinkedIn Learning, just log in using your Ryerson credentials, and you can search up CATIA V5, how to use it. This guy is an expert. He's a CEO of some company, so he should be better like at CATIA than me. So if you want to get a head start, this is sort of what he's going to be teaching you. I'll be teaching. For me, I just need to teach you guys how to use like the bare minimum so that you can work on your presentations, you know, make your gliders. The tutorials that I'll be doing are more, I guess, focused on like aircrafts, glider design. So maybe in the next tutorial I'll show you some of my designs for my school projects. So I guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I don't know how long that was. I hope that wasn't too long, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.